What is up, guys? Welcome to another live session. Today is November 28th, 2019, and we're back again on the charts for another live session. Trading View, every tab uploads, it gets loaded, but Trading View for some reason likes to take its time. So, uh, before we continue, I wanted to go over some of the signals we took this week, just to keep everything kind of clear and give everyone an idea of what trades we're in before I head off to my business trip. So yesterday, it's been a weird market week, to say the least. We entered pound Aussie, and for some reason, um, I know spreads and stuff, but the spreads expanded to I think 300 pips. I've never seen that for pound Aussie. So as soon as we entered, once 505 hit, thank you Trading View, we got stopped out. So that was annoying. We've entered before during market closure for pound Aussie, Euro Aussie, and even some Swiss pairs. But it's been weird. And if you check the actual charts for pound Aussie, you can see a lot of pound Aussie or any of the pound pairs. You can see they're on some sort of rally. I don't know why why that is. When you check the charts, there isn't really anything kind of driving this momentum. But I wanted to check Forex Factory, and literally there is nothing. If we check when we entered the trade yesterday, you can see that when we entered was 5 p.m. Nothing. When we take a peek at the charts, you're gonna see a whole new pound. It's like it's been weird. Let's just keep it at that. So, it's been a mixed week. We had pound Aussie first, then Aussie CAD, Aussie NSD, then pound Aussie again. We had some gold. Then we had pound Aussie. And yesterday we had three signals that were given, and none of them have become active yet. So, you know, we're in a tough spot where we don't want to force the issue, because right now I think we're sitting at a bit of profit for the week or break even. So any unnecessary trades can sway it one way or another. And look, when we discussed gold short yesterday, we just wanted a break this is euro. We just wanted a break of a key level of 1456, and we still haven't gotten that. As you can see, a lot of the major pairs are looking the same. They look like they're heading lower, but they're not doing so. Like if you look at Euro USD, like we just looked at, yeah, I mean, all we need is this simple break of this level. Yesterday during the live, we were right here. We pulled back, consolidated for the next day or so. This is just a bunch of 4-hour candles. You had the sun 4, 8, 12, 16, 24. Just one whole day of consolidation. Gold has been just chilling. Some other pairs have been moving chaotically. I really don't know, but I do think it's some trade war. Just global news type stuff that is involved. Something that is outside the realm of just regular price action. But here's our alert, still standing, and I'm telling you, one of these trades get activated, we will be good for the week, and we can leave the week on a high note. So apologies, I got sick again, but we just need that break. So hopefully you guys didn't enter. We haven't even wicked it down there. Just price is just showing reluctancy to go down there, and for what? I don't get for what though. It's not NFP week. What it's waiting for. Friday we have zero USD news, just CAD. So I don't know what gold is waiting for, but this can happen at times, especially since today is Thanksgiving. So a lot of pairs will take advantage with the lack of volatility in the U.S. markets. Maybe that's what led to the weird week, but I did make this an important caveat yesterday that during the month of December, you're gonna see volume sort of trend down as we approach the holidays, and when you have a reduction in volume, any large accumulation or offset of orders, buy or sells, can make major moves in the market that seem kind of extraordinary or just unpredictable. And we could be seeing that. I mean, we still have a few days till December actually arrives, but um, it's a bit weird. Last week we had a really solid week, and this week my eyes are tearing up. This week we're having just a mixed week. So it happens. We just ride with the motion and go with the flow of trading. That's what happens. But yeah, gold didn't get activated. If you look at pound yen just decided to rocket. We did discuss the possibility to go long, but again, let's actually pull up the chart we looked at yesterday. And see, right now, I would short pound yen, but the pound for some reason has been gaining a lot of strength, so definitely reluctant. I think the first chart was it. So right, so yesterday we were here. We discussed in the live we could short from here. As we were talking in the live, pound yen jumped 20 pips. 20 pips in 5 minutes, right? So that was weird. So we said, okay, we have a next pretty solid area of resistance to short from, these wicks right here. And so at this line we're just waiting for some sort of rejection. Pound yen said screw all of that. It is going. I mean, just look at this. These are 4 straight 1, 2, 3, 4 4-hour candles full of bulls, full of buyers, just taking this to the upside. Within a day, it moved over 150 pips. So, and it didn't bounce off support or anything. I mean, it came off resistance. It was looking like its way all the way down to the bottom of a trading range till it just said, screw that, just blasted off. So, this trade was also not activated unless you took the long from this level to this level. In that case, you could have gotten like 30 pips, but nothing that I called. So the 1 hour kind of does show a short, but it's been weird, man. It's been a weird week in the market. So and it's funny how it's the week where I leave on vacation. But yeah, I really don't know what to say about pound yen in terms of setup today. I'm still holding on to the hope of Euro NSD just coming through. And it was just right there. It was right there to enter, but we just couldn't get our entry criteria. So if we look, yesterday was the 27th. Let's go to what time? Cool, right here. So I sent a sell stop of about enter at 1.71091. To go lower, okay? And the reason why is we created some kind of support here. I just don't want to get caught in this nonsense. I was kind of getting frustrated with the week, and I just wanted to get a nice clean entry. We just said screw that, and we came back to these previous hourly resistance that we drew right here. That was used to determine our stop loss. We came back down. Okay, I was like, all right, maybe now we'll go. Nope. Pound Aussie comes back down, and then closes back with support. It's like, what is happening? I know Christmas is coming, but come on, man. These markets gotta just hang in there for a bit. Maybe we can squeeze just a little bit more pips out of the markets before we say goodbye for 2019. But yeah, a solid setup. I mean, the daily is now looking kind of weird too. When we looked at it originally, it was pretty bearish. Look at this. Clear break of previous support. Now we're printing a hammer on it because we got squeezed back up. So this might be a case where we do make a deeper retrace up to here and then make a push down. But I'm telling you, if we either capture this or the gold short, we will be good for the week. But I'm just waiting for that entry. And you know, a nice thing is our entry criteria is so specific that we don't get faked out. So there are instances where we would have gotten faked out, for example, Euro NSD or gold, but we didn't. We have some pretty strict entry criteria, and it's gonna happen weeks like this, but it just depends on how you react. And it's funny because 2 days ago we did a kind of a discussion on how to trade with confidence, and trust me, the confidence is not wavered. And if you're using proper risk management, you should not be worried about one losing week, two losing weeks, or even three losing weeks. Because if you take the bulk of the work we've done since we've started, since inception, we've been very steady. So unless some miracle happens and the far end candle can somehow squeeze back below and activate our sell stop, UNSD is just gonna probably make a deeper retrace up to this level right here before deciding where to go. So that is the recap of the signals we took yesterday. I do want to talk about some of the majors, one being pound dollar, which has shown a potential to short, but again, the pound has, I don't know where the strength is coming from. Every time I want to short it, it wants to show some strength, but last week we had some successive shorts for this pair. Let me just remove these now. If you look, we're coming pretty close to our second hourly resistance right here. We're sitting right on it, and this is the setup I want to target just to make a nice 60-50 pips for the day. Entry at 1.28950. Final take profit 128,000. So 94 pips could be made here, and if that can happen for us, then all is forgotten with what happened in the remainder of the week. But we can see what we're trying to target. We're trying to target this move right here. That closure below this level does take this pair lower in the past, and that's where we're going to target. Obviously, the first take profit will be 128,450, which is exactly 50 pips away. So I'm just praying to the pound gods that they can just push down here, give us that closure, and we can take this trade lower. 95 pips on a Thursday. 0 USD news tomorrow. Weird week. It's a weird week. And for some reason the dollar is starting to show some strength against the pound, even though it's Thanksgiving and the pound, is obviously had to do with Brexit, the whole quarter. But that's a setup. So look for a closure below 1.29040. And for this trade, do not use a sell stop. Please don't use a sell stop. Look for the actual candle closure, not these wicks that we see when we get faked out. We want that candle closure. We never stop at 1.29. Let's make it 300 since the markets want to act weird. 1.29306. First take profit 1.28450. The next one 1.28,000. Let's get it done. So pound dollar. We already took a look at Euro USD invertently, but let's take a look at USD yen. Which extend this over. So here is the beauty of channels. Let me actually go to the daily. So yeah, here's the beauty of channels. This one channel alone could have brought a lot of pips, and we did catch some of these moves. But the idea I have for USD yen is now to long all the way to this next trend line touch, and we do have an appropriate candle to enter at. Right now on the daily, we do have this bullish hammer, and so what that tells me is we did have a retrace on a smaller time frame. buyers have surged back in. So if anything, for this week, we could just maybe attempt this sort of trade setup right here. Let's go to the weekly so you can see the trend line. On the weekly, dating back all the way to May 5th, 2015, we have this trend line come into play. And you can see these past few weeks, USD yen, after coming off support, has been on a nice bull rally. So let's take advantage of that and take it all the way up to any of these points on the trend line. 2-hour time frame. Let's see. So our entry criteria for this long, and we have to be careful here because we have this previous high that we need to clear. Number two, when we do go along, we do have that channel, that top trend line of the channel coming into play. And afterwards, I think it'd be clear waters. So 4-hour. Just trying to look to the left, see if there's any area we stalled at before. Right, so that's fine. So we just need to clear the recent high we've made, and we can target 109.929, 40 pips away. The next target would be also 40 to 50 pips away, because we could, touch on the trend line here or just touch up here. It depends on the angle of attack of these candles, but that's what I want to do for USD yen. So entry would probably be somewhere up here. We'll have a stop just below our previous resistance at 109.336. A possible entry would be 109.617. A candle closure could be even higher. We just need one candle to close bullish above the previous high, just to give us some confirmation we're going higher. On the flip side, we could have a short if we do close below this level again. But this week, as we've realized, the yen has lost a lot of its strength, so we'll just take advantage. We'll just ride with the wave of yen weakness. So be on the lookout for this. I'll try my best to call this trade as the day progresses. Stop would be somewhere at 109.250. Pretty tight stop loss, but I'm in kind of a dilemma here because USD yen has overextended quite a bit. It could be due for a retracement, and that's why we're not entering now. But a close above could maybe be a fake out. I'll call the shots for this. Actually, I'll tell you guys whether to enter or not. So don't worry about it, but have the analysis down on your charts, the level itself, the stop, where you want that break above. So the break above needs to be at 109.6650-ish, and it has to be bullish in nature to enter, but I'll let you guys know whether to enter or not. So we're still holding on to Euro NSD, maybe making a push now, and gold also, and pound dollar, we are waiting on a pending setup, as well as USD yen. So I think out of all those trades, pound dollar would probably be the one ready to go the earliest. So we'll take an advantage of that when the time comes. I wish my last week before I left was a bit better than this, but it happens. I wish I could dictate which weeks we do good and which weeks we do okay, etc., etc. We just take a quick peek at the chat, and then I want to talk about how to draw fibs really quickly. And before I start on that topic, I do have to give a quick reminder. I am leaving on a business trip this Saturday, November 30th. I will be back next Thursday, December 5th. So you may receive a signal or two while the time I'm gone, but the last session will be put on hold. Yeah, the UNSD bull candle had no regard for human life, and that's why I do not use limit orders to enter my trades. I know it takes a bit of work, but I rather watch the charts every few hours or create an alert to see if whatever we needed to happen happened. So let's take a look at. We did take a look at oil yesterday, so I do want to see if what's up with that. We'll take a look at Bitcoin, and then we can talk about drawing fibs. So okay, cool. So again, our oil setup has yet to be activated. This is a similar occurrence with a lot of our trades right now. We're at the level. We're just not getting that what we need. It's kind of aggravating, but we wanted a bearish closure. Obviously this is not a bearish closure. Below this level, we did not get it, and we haven't entered it yet. But the daily will show you if once we get that bearish closure below, we are heading lower. We're targeting so many resistance levels here. The main one being 58.80 per barrel. The secondary resistance being 57.73 a barrel, and we're targeting the support region down here, the support zone. And if you recall in yesterday's video, in yesterday's live session, we did talk about how to draw these support and resistance zones. If you need a refresher, there's a video on our YouTube and also on my TikTok. I'm RP Forex on there. Make sure you follow. So again, we have a lot of setups pending, ready to go. The pound Aussie trade yesterday, I've never seen spreads go to 300 before. And I have an ECN broker trader's way that I always rave about with tight spreads, but unfortunate. But yeah, we have some solid setups. The news is pretty clear for the rest of the week. So what we can do is just try to enter one of these 4 setups that are still pending, and see if they can take us home. See if it's a home run, and if it's a home run, we'll be solid. So let's take a peek at Bitcoin since we did look at it yesterday. Coinbase, and so cool. Bitcoin is taking the annoying approach that we were kind of expecting. So we expected a retrace up to here, but yesterday we did discuss the possibility of Bitcoin closing back above 7,500 and maybe doing a deep retrace to one of these levels before going lower. I guess that's just what it wants to do in this moment in time, but it should have just went lower. It should have went lower. I mean, it went 60% of the way, 6,500. It just needed that 500 more, so that 50 or so pips in value to go lower. For now, let's look into the left. It's in a tough spot for sellers for the moment. Buyers have came back in, and we could have a push back to maybe here or here. I would not be surprised, but I do think it is still a short nonetheless. So I don't know, one of these 2 levels, I think buyers will be able to take it 8,700 maybe, but nothing more. On the flip side, sellers could just push back in and just continue that push down, but I mean, it had multiple chances to do so. This was one chance, this was another chance, this was another chance. So there's chances for sellers to do it. I don't know why that didn't happen when it did. So definitely some buyers giving Bitcoin some breathing room, but we could have a pretty deep retracement. So it could be pretty ugly. On the daily, you can kind of see the daily looks pretty bullish right now too. So let me remove this over. You can kind of see we've printed a spinning top or a hammer, if you want to call it. So it's a decent sized hammer. So the daily still looks pretty bearish. I mean, we did have occurrences of these sort of retraces before we went lower. So that just might be the case, and 8,700 would probably be the target to look for your shorts down back to 7,500 and then back to 6,000. And at this point, we'll talk about Fibonacci levels. So to keep it simple, because there are many variations and ways to draw them, but they all have similarities. I'm just gonna find a pair we haven't looked at. Again, CAD yen, we had a pending setup, just waiting. Trying to find an example of fibs during a downtrend and an uptrend, so it makes sense. Okay, perfect. Aussie NSD. So, oh, cool. Even though I got out early, Aussie NSD finally hit our final take profit. I got out here when we discussed on Monday, but it did go the extra 9 pips. Cool. So, anyways, for fibs, it's, it depends on when you like to use them. Some people like to use them on the hourly, 4 hourly. Some even use on a 15-minute time frame. But for me personally, I like to keep it on the 1 hour and longer. So 1 hour, 4 hour, 10 hour, weekly, etc. So all fibs help you do is catch possible entries and continuations to either a short or a long. Because these numbers have been shown in nature, have been shown in biology, and in all sorts of phenomenon in the world, and so that's why they're called the Fibonacci numbers. And the whole intuition behind them is they hold special value. So every time, for example, a sell-off happens, a pair will retrace to one of these key fib levels before it makes that next push down. So all you do to draw fibs, and I like to use TradingView, if you guys know, you go to your toolbar, you click the second fork-looking item, and you click fib retracement. And for a downtrend, all you want to do is connect the major highs and low of that downtrend. So, for example, the recent high for Aussie NSD was this one right here. And so I'm going to connect that to the recent low, and the recent low was down here, right? So our recent high all the way to our recent low. And at this point, we made a retrace. So currently, we're at the 61.8 fib level, and this is usually, this is one of 3 levels that I think are the gold standard places to look for sells. So usually, when you get to 61.8 fib level, in most cases, you have, a rejection or some sort of indication we're about to go lower, and price does go lower. You'll see some examples of that when we use it in our live sessions. So right now, this 4-hour candle has yet to close, but based on intuition, the next 4-hour candle can indicate another entry to go short. So if you went short from here, and you were looking to add another few positions, after this retrace, you would be looking at the 61.8 fib level to get in on that. The other level is the 50 fib level. So it's also been said to have importance. During a trend, markets tend to retrace maybe 50% of the way back before going lower. So in a downtrend, it might retrace. Let me get the arrow out. It will go down, and it might retrace to the 50 fib level, which is common, which I see it a lot, and then go lower. Or it could go to the 61.8. And this level is also important, the 31.82 fib level. The size of these retracements kind of indicate the strength of the trend. Obviously, smaller retracements indicate a lot more sellers than buyers. Deeper retracements, you are kind of playing with fire. So once we get past the 78.6 fib level, or even after the 61.8 fib level, I do become cautious of the trade. So if we do, try to touch the 78.6 fib level, at that point I kind of change my bias to maybe looking for a long or just holding out on that trade. So that's how you do it in a bear market. We'll look at some cases for when you go long. Let's actually look at Bitcoin. So since we just looked at it, and it is looking like it's a long, so why not? Cool. So for Bitcoin, it's the same thing, right? So we're on the 4-hour time frame, and you come on the charts, you see, okay, Bitcoin's making a rally. We don't really have any levels here because it's a clean chart, but let's quickly draw some. Okay, so we see Bitcoin has jumped off some support, and you want to get in on the on this fun. So what you do is you get your fibs from the low of the past move, from the low right here, all the way up to the recent high it has made. Okay, so cool. We have this major push now. Like we discussed in for longs, we want to do the same thing here. The two levels you wanna kind of look for buys is the 38.2 fib level. So you want Bitcoin. You want to wait till Bitcoin comes down here. Look for some signs of rejection. Then buy, go longer. Also, you can wait for a deeper retracement to the 50 fib level, and then go longer. If it goes past the 61.8 fib level or anything else, it's probably going to go back lower. So that's the same intuition here. And we can actually kind of, so let me actually start moving my mouse so you guys can take this in, because there's probably a real example of this happening right here. So we can show that in just 1 second. But yeah, that's the basis of fibs. You can read up more on it with extensions, but I never really found extensions of use to me, so I just tend to not use them. That's why we kind of use our key levels as target zones instead of extensions. But if we, let me just remove all this. And it's funny, a lot of my charts are filled with arrows now. Let me know when you guys are cool with the idea of trading ranges. But if you look at this past surge by Bitcoin, you can see exactly what happened. So this was the recent surge. Let me line this up. This is the recent surge for Bitcoin, and it had a deep retrace. So it had a reaction to 38.2 fib level, as you can see. You had a bearish candle. But it took a deeper retrace all the way to the 61.8 fib level before going higher. So, and that could be attested to the overall downtrend. Because we're in a downtrend, a lot of sellers are still there trying to push price lower, and that is the case while we had a deeper retrace than you're usually accustomed to. So, for this next push, I doubt there'll be as deep as a retrace. Obviously, we do have to use other parts of technical analysis, and one of those things is the resistance that we've kind of created at 7,677. So that is one thing we got to clear before anything, despite what fibs might say. So, quick video on Fibonacci. Hope that makes sense. And my bad, just checking the chat. I will have you guys posted when I'm on my trip and as the day goes on about trade setups. Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to all the Americans and to everyone else who celebrates it. One thing I do want to say is you guys have Thanksgiving very late. It's almost Christmas. What's the deal with that? But anyways, now we're just gonna end off this session. Hopefully you kind of understand how to draw fibs. We don't really use them too much, but when we're stuck on when to enter, we do incorporate them. So that is fibs. That is Bitcoin. We have 4 solid setups yesterday that just didn't get an entry. We have another 4 today. We're just gonna pray to the trading gods that can give us entry, even though it's Thanksgiving. So, keep your hopes up that we get a nice setup. Enjoy your time with your family. You probably won't see any major moves today in the U.S. markets anyways. With that being said, I will see you guys tomorrow, and then I'll be gone on Saturday. I will be vlogging, quote-unquote vlogging the experience on my TikTok. Go ahead and follow. It's going to be, a less formal than our sessions, so you will see some fun stuff on there. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. My handle is RP Forex. I think I followed back everyone that followed me back. Shoot me a message. You can also ask for trade-related questions on there while I'm on my trip, and I'll be happy to answer. So, I'm RP Forex. This is another great live session. I am logging off, and I'll see you all tomorrow at 11 a.m. for another session. Peace.